In the deafening silence around Battlefield 2042, there are whispers on the very edges of the community regarding the dreaded words of a delay. Now, is there a chance for a delay, and how would the community react? Could this be a good thing, or could this be just something terrible as a sign for what 2042 is going to be? Well, we're going to discuss that very thing today. Now, without further ado, if you do enjoy today's video, don't forget to leave it a nice, thick, and juicy like as always. Of course, enjoy this kind of content, you want more like it, be sure to hit that big red sexy subscribe button right underneath the video. Also gotta say, I've been streaming a ton lately. It's been just incredible hanging out with you guys on stream. If you want to swing by and say hi, make sure you hit that notification bell. Last but not least, gotta thank my channel members. We've been getting a bunch of you guys lately, and I absolutely cannot thank you enough. You help make this content possible. So if you want to join, get access to the exclusive perks that they get, then be sure to check out that blue join button. Anyway, let's begin. So like I said, there have been whispers of a delay with regards to Battlefield 2042, and I think there are quite a few camps that players are finding themselves in with regards to this delay. Now personally for myself, it does seem like each passing day, each passing hour that we don't hear something, there's a little thought in the back of my head about some kind of a delay or a late beta or something like that. Just, it gets a little bit louder. And while I've always thought that the silence as of recent is about marketing and just keeping us wanting more, I can't help but hold on to that thought that that potential is there. Now, what does that mean? What happens if there is a delay? What would this mean for the community? Well, on the one hand, you have the casual audience, and I think this is where DICE is losing out the most, because the casual audience is essentially just going to go and buy the most hyped game that they hear about of the year, and then they're just going to go and play for like an hour or two a week, just have a good time, put it down, and that's your main casual audience. That's where you see the numbers of these games and their sales go from kind of your usual 8 to 10 million, and then they jump up to that 15 to 20 million. That extra fat on top is your casual player base. They're just buying it because it's hyped up. They're not going to be the people going and watching videos like this one, or going onto message boards, or talking on Twitter. They're not going to be doing that sort of thing. They just want to buy whatever looks cool, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. That's just your casual audience, and for them, that might put a little bit of a damper on hitting that audience. Again, I think the silence is starting to lose out on them because it's not in their faces as much as something like Vanguard, which has already had its alpha for the PlayStation, and then it's going to have essentially 2 weeks worth of, I think it's an alpha and a beta, or just betas on all the platforms. So it's pretty in your face with Call of Duty. Despite the late announcement, they've just come out like a storm, and they're pretty much everywhere. So Call of Duty is going to hit that casual audience pretty darn hard. It's just their brand, and Battlefield does have a brand on that level. It's just the marketing has definitely cooled off as of late, despite a really hot start in my opinion. Now the other audience, the side that I think we find ourselves in, that is going to be your core audience, and I think there's two camps within the core audience. The first camp is the one that I would say I find myself in, is, you know, take your time with the game. If you feel like you have to push it back a little bit because it's maybe not quite in the state that you want it to be, I would very much rather have the game launch in a stable state. So take your time, because I think more than the silence around the game, if you launch it and it's in a poor state, that's going to be a far bigger issue, because we have those memories of not only Battlefield 4's launch, which it aged well, but the launch kind of killed its momentum right off the bat. And then of course Battlefield 5's launch, which was horrifically buggy. A lot of people couldn't even run the game. You don't want to have that again. You don't want to have this amazing game being marketed and all this hype around it, and then it launches and it's just a dud. That's not what people want. I don't think it'll be a Cyberpunk type of situation if that is the case, but a very buggy launch would be something that dampens the excitement around the game a lot more than anything else. So personally, take your time with it. If you feel like you need an extra month, go for it. Am I just itching for some new Battlefield content? Absolutely, but take your time. Now the other side of the community, of the core audience community, is going to be the people who are just kind of, I don't want to say fed up, but people who feel like this is almost unacceptable to delay at this point. You cut Battlefield 5's life cycle short, you cut Battlefront 2's life cycle short, so you could pour all these extra resources into Battlefield 2042. And here we are, over a year without any fresh Battlefield content, and we're about to get the launch of this game, and then we're gonna delay it. To those people, that might feel unacceptable. And I can't totally blame them, because the argument I've heard from talking to people who feel this way is, you sort of made, not necessarily a promise, but you sort of, you know, did the wink wink type of deal, where it's like, by pouring these extra resources into this game. We're going to have it ready for you. We're going to have something great for you by the time the next game comes around. It's going to be ready, it's going to launch on time, and it's going to launch smoothly. Sort of like what happened with Battlefield 1. They took the extra time to make sure that game was put together well, and of all the Battlefield games of the last decade, it did have the smoothest launch. And so with 2042, we're getting up on that point, and a lot of people have the expectation that it should be running smoothly because they have poured the extra resources onto it, and they have taken the extra time for it, and yet it does seem like that there may be a delay still. So what's the issue? And personally, I feel like the scope of this game is relatively large. I'm not making excuses. That's just something the way it seems, just considering Portal, Hazard Zone, and just all-out warfare in general. It seems like the scope of this game is fairly large, and I know that can be very hard on developers. So could that be the case that the scope is maybe a little too large for what they thought they could get out? Maybe, I don't know. But I still think that getting this game out smoothly is more important than anything. I would much rather wait an extra month if we have to be able to have a smooth experience at launch and then go right into the holidays and have fun with all that, than have to deal with, you know, it launches and there's bugs everywhere and the game barely functions. I'm sure you guys remember the invisible soldiers that came not long after Battlefield 5's launch. Like, you don't want bugs like that. Anyway, let me know you guys' thoughts down below. What do you think of Battlefield 2042? Do you think it's going to get delayed? What are your thoughts if it does get delayed? Is this going to create a rift for the community? Is this going to be a piece of contention for yourself and you're considering of purchasing the game if they do decide to delay it? Let me know. Let's have a conversation, and I'll see you guys in the next video.